Good morning, everyone. Can you guys see my screen here for our augmented reality webinar? Awesome. My name is Mary Ness, and I am part of the customer engagement training team, and I'm joined by Courtney Smith, who you receive all of Courtney's many fabulous emails, along with Nick Riley's and all of our fabulous marketing team that sends out great free information for you to utilize. We've got folks streaming in right now. We're up to almost 40 participants, and so we'll get started in just a second. And we're going to be talking today about augmented reality, which is utilizing a mobile device to create an augmented reality so that you can have a virtual reality and augmented reality situation where you can place one of our 3D objects in your actual space, which helps students understand spatial organization. It engages them. We'll talk about kind of the benefits of using augmented reality. I'm going to demo augmented reality and talk about the resources that we have available to help you use augmented reality. And at the end of the webinar, if we have time, we'll see how that goes. We're going to give you guys an opportunity for kind of a practice session. So if you haven't yet downloaded Visible Body Suite to your mobile device, phone or tablet, please take some time while you're listening to me yammer on and download the app to your device. If you use Courseware, which is our learning platform, you can navigate to Courseware and go to the My Apps and then just download the mobile app. If you have an institutional site license, you basically get to that opening page, and right next to Visible Body Suite, it will say, give you an option for downloading that mobile app. So I encourage you, while you're listening, I'll be chatting for a while and you can be multitasking. I know that we all multitask all the time. So if you want to have a chance, because I think really practicing with this is a way to start playing with it and get comfortable so that then you can get comfortable into moving it into your classroom. So we'll get started in just one sec. If you have any questions, you can post those in the chat. There's a Q&A section as well. I believe you also have the option to raise a hand. Courtney is going to be monitoring the chat for us, and we'll get going in just one second. Does anybody have any questions right now about how to get login? Oh.
Adam has a question now, actually. Adam, you were like 5 seconds ahead of me. Yes, we will be recording this. We've actually started. So if you'd need to pop off the webinar for any reason, not to worry. I will be emailing the recording of this tomorrow morning in an email, along with any follow-up goodies that crop up. So keep an eye out for that. We'll also be posting this to our YouTube channel, where you can also watch all of our previous webinars. So I'll include a link to our channel in tomorrow's email as well.
Great, thank you. That's a great question. Yeah, Courtney will send, we're going to be talking about different resources that are available in terms of lesson plans that we already have created. I've created a Courseware account, some different blog articles, some different resources that you can then utilize. And so
it's going to be a smorgasbord of awesome stuff that will be in tomorrow's email. So keep an eye out.
So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stop sharing my screen and reshare. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share it with my iPad. And I practiced this and now it's asking for a download, but look, it happened really quick. And oh dear, hang on. Let's see. Screen mirroring. There we go. And then choose, look at me following directions and doing it on the fly. I did a little run through and it all worked, but of course, you know how it goes. You're teaching that when you actually are live in something happening, it takes a second. So this is spinning, and so we should get this going in just 1 second. There we go. Hooray! Look at us. Yay, you guys can see my screen. Awesome. All right. So I'm just going to get organized really quickly here with my notes so that I cover the information that I want to make sure that I cover. And can you still see my screen, or is that hiding?
There it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So you can see my screen here. So you can see here, and if I click on human anatomy, this is where we are. Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, great. All right. So this is Visible Body Suite, which is our most powerful learning platform. If you have used Visible Body in the past, this is the app that is formerly known as Atlas. So if you have an old version of Atlas on your mobile device, you're going to want to delete that. And then you're going to want to re-download the latest version of Visible Body Suite, which has a black icon. And you access that through Courseware by going to the My Apps, or you go to the institutional site license, your entrance page, and you just download the mobile app from there. If you have an institutional site license, the first time you use Visible Body Suite, you do need to create an account, and so do your students. Sometimes that's a hassle. You're like, I don't want to create an account, but truly it is absolutely worthwhile, because what happens is one, you then have, it's necessary, first of all, in order to be able to use it. And second of all, the benefit is that you then have the content that is linked. So if you have access on a computer and you have access on a phone, the saved content that you have, for example, in the study section, which is our flashcards, that then what is going to happen is that will all sync, and you'll be able to access that anytime, anywhere. The library contains tours and favorites, and then you're able to access that information and save it. So if you have an institutional site license, you do need to create an account. If you use Courseware, which is our learning platform, you already have an account created, so you don't necessarily need to create an account. So you can see at the top there, I have content that is syncing. When you save content, it saves to your library or to your study tab. And so depending on how much you have, that sync can take a little bit, but for our purposes, it doesn't make necessarily a huge difference. So augmented reality, why use it? Why is it important? Well, you are familiar with trying to engage students, right? And so one of the things is that engaging students by utilizing our Visible Body 3D content, you have the ability to have an interactive model that allows students to be able to dissect content, to create different views that they want to have. This is something that engages students, and augmented reality student engages them even more. It gives you an opportunity to set up collaborative learning, where you can have students paired together doing muscle actions and working together using augmented reality. We talked about a little bit about spatial skills. So for students to understand where things are in context with everything else and how things work, here you can see I'm clicking into our muscle movements. By utilizing augmented reality, it helps students understand that spatial organization. The 4 squares in Visible Body Suite always take me back to our home screen. Blue means that things are turned on. So here I'm in the home, and I am in, when I click into anatomy, I'm in the regional view. If I click on the systems view, it's then going to take me into a view of all the systems. And that spatial organization is important, because when students are looking at the build of the body and the way that those kidneys are placed, having that understanding that those kidneys are offset because they need to be, because of the way that the digestive system is set up, that the students have to be able to understand that those kidneys are wedged tightly in there. And by using augmented reality, they're then going to be able to have that understanding of that spatial organization. I just need to take off my thing really quick. I just stopped sharing for 1 second. Sorry. I just realized I needed to take off my very safe cover. Make sure that I don't dump it. So let's see. Am I back on sharing that? Did that go okay? I didn't lose that. Nope. I'm going to stop sharing and reshare real quick. Sorry. Good that I know that though, right? All right, here we go. Now we're going to try again. And screen mirroring again. That would show, that should be showing up. And hopefully this is going to work. You seeing it here? Looks like we've got a couple of questions. Are we?
I'm answering them, yes.
That's
So
great.
Kay is trying to access VB Suite through I'm assuming a trial, but will she need to create her own account?
So the way that it works is that
Kay,
if you,
I was going to say Kay's raised her hand, so we could unmute her really quick
Great.
while we wait for this to
Yeah.
thing. So let's see. Okay, I'm trying to find you on the list so I can, there you are. Okay.
All right. Okay, you can unmute yourself and then you can ask your question.
Because I just had a dermabrasion treatment, so I don't have my camera on either. Now, can you hear me?
We
Yes.
can, yes.
Okay, wonderful. I was browsing this morning. I'm with Goodwin University, and we have available to us in an email from Terry, who handles this sort of thing. And I went to it's called Visible Body Tutorial, I think. And it's essentially some of the things that you're going over now, but we can neither download it nor copy any of it. So I was wondering if that's not possible, if there's a workaround. Any suggestions?
So the visible body tutorial, that sounds like that might be an animation. So what
It
you
is.
want, yep. So what you want to do is to log in at courseware.visiblebody.com.
Right, I just was provided that account, the link.
And so if you have that account, you should be able to go to the My Apps page and be able to then access that information.
Okay, one other question, and then I won't interrupt anymore.
No worries.
How do I teach online as well as on campus. How do I lift out pictures or structures and insert them to my PowerPoint lectures? Now, if you're going to cover this later, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's a great question. So that's a good question. So typically what people end up doing when they utilize our content, rather than having what they'll do is maybe they have a PowerPoint that's up and then they flip back and forth between the PowerPoint, which has kind of those different components, and then they go live into the model, because here then they have the ability to then teach within this model. So right here, this is an example of one of our tours. So in the upper right-hand corner, you can see here that I have these different views. So this is an example of one of the tours that we have created that is a learning path for students. And so this talks about the different components of the renal system functions. And so what would happen is you would maybe have a PowerPoint, and then you would flip live over into the program, be able to then look at the different content, maybe be able to dissect content away and drill in and talk about like those renal pyramids and move your way through. And so by utilizing Visible Body Live, that's going to be a better impact than downloading just a still image. Does that answer that question?
It did. Not the answer I wanted, but
well, the other thing too is just know that one of the things is I'm part of the customer engagement training team, and we offer free training and support that is unlimited and ongoing. So you can connect with your sales rep to be then connected with your customer engagement specialists, Mary, Jen Kravitz, Jen Smulligan, Wes Patterson, and Brady Billiter. And now Matt Genoway is working with us for the semester start. We are here to meet with you one-on-one and be able to have you share your screen and then talk about best strategies. And so we can really customize and personalize what it is that you want to do and help you figure out the best way to do it. And oftentimes give you content that's preset, ready to go, that maybe you need to do 5% of the work for something that's really going to be super valuable.
Sounds terrific. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Kay. Appreciate you asking the question.
Okay, I'm finished. Thank you.
Nope, you're good. No worries at all. So yeah, so utilizing augmented reality helps students understand that spatial organization, right? When they get into that 3D interactive content. The other thing is that having multimedia set up like AR is that it puts students in the driver's seat. They're actually working within the content. So I'm just going to do a quick show you how to use AR, and we'll keep talking about why to utilize it. So here you can see I'm in one of our 3D models. Down in the bottom left-hand corner, you can see here that I have this AR button. So when I click on this AR button, what's happening here is now it's looking for a surface to put the structure on. So I'm going to get this yellow square, and I'm going to get these sparkles that indicate that it's ready to go. All I have to do to turn on augmented reality is click on that yellow square, and then I'm going to tilt my iPad so that now you can then see that structure, and here it is, and this is my view. So I am in Hawaii and I'm sitting on a back porch, and that's the duck pond, and there's Athena the dog. So that's where I am. I was going to go to another place and I was like, I'm just going to stay outside, but I still have all of that same functionality. Now, if I add muscles to this view by clicking down here over on the systems tray on the left-hand side, I just added all the muscles. I can then select a muscle. Down here in the information box, I then have external oblique is written, so I know what the name is. As a student, I can read about what the external oblique is. Down here, this related content, these little arrows then give me those muscle actions. And so now I have that structure doing those muscle actions. And so this is an example of how you can use augmented reality in a classroom. So you can have students paired up. So you can have another student standing where Athena is, the little black dog right there. And you could have another student standing and practicing that movement. Now, to exit augmented reality, I'm just going to click on the blue square again. It's giving me the option, do I want to exit AR mode or do I want to reposition? And I'm going to exit because I'm going to just show you again how to do it. We'll exit. And now I'm back in my normal component. Okay. So if you have downloaded Visible Body Suite, what you're going to do is you can navigate to any view. So here I am, I'm in our main screen here. We started out in our home system, and let's say that I want to use our really powerful search tool. So I just click here, search. We have all these suggestions. And so let's say that I want to do some more muscle actions. I can click in. This takes me into a view with all the muscle actions. And now I want to do hip extension. So I go ahead and I have that view. I touch and drag to rotate, 2 fingers to pinch and zoom in and out because I'm on a mobile device. I can select a structure to see what the name is. Again, to turn on augmented reality, I'm going to click on augmented reality. I have the iPad held up this way. I'm going to turn it parallel to the ground. Look at me using geometry terms. Here, it's seeing that it wants a structure. I get that yellow dot and sparkles. It gives me a little, and now I have that movement. I'm a little zoomed in, so I'm going to zoom that out by pinching that out, and now I can see that movement. Okay. So if you have your mobile device, you can go ahead and try utilizing that as well. I'm going to go back to the main screen and I'm going to take a look at another view. So here again, I'm going to click into that search. I'm going to click back out here. And I'm going to go to our home screen. I'm going to go to human anatomy. Again, I have all of this different views set up where I am in the systems view, and I can scroll through and I can scan through and look at the different options. But what I want to do is I want to go to our gross anatomy lab view. And so this is one of the new features of our new interface, is that you have this really awesome filter over here on the far right-hand side in the upper corner. I have that filter. Those are those 3 little lines. I can turn on Gross Anatomy Lab, and this gives me all of my Gross Anatomy Lab views. And this is where you can really get that spatial organization. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click and I'm going to choose a view of the, what looks good? I'm going to do the interperitoneal organs. And here I've got augmented reality on because I never turned it off. And so there it is. And I now have that view right here in front of me. I can turn this around and I can even push my way through and do an internal view into this organ. So here I'm going down the esophagus. Now, if you guys are trying this and playing with this and having success, you can go ahead and put in the chat, hey, it's working. Hey, I'm having issues. I can come through here and I can push in. I can get up and stand up and walk around and move around. Within the Gross Anatomy Lab view, I have the ability here in the upper right-hand corner where I can flip that to prone. Same thing, I can come up on top and I can go down below, work my way through. I can do everything here that I can do in our normal system, so I can then dissect content away. I just select and I click hide. right? That dissects that content away. Anything here that I have information about. We were looking at those kidneys before, right? So let's go ahead and use the systems tray over here on the upper left-hand corner. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn all the muscles on by clicking the muscles in the middle. Turns them all on. I click it again, it turns them all off. A new functionality that we have, as long as we're here, I can click on this plus sign and that puts in the deepest layer of muscles. But for our purposes right now, we want to go ahead and get rid of those muscles.
Mary,
Yes.
before
Yeah.
you go on, would you mind going back to the main menu and showing how you got to the gross anatomy lab section? We have a couple of people who.
You bet. Thank you very much for asking that. Like, seriously, you guys, let's keep this interactive so you're getting the information. You're not like, wait, like I was lost 10 minutes ago. So here I'm at the home screen, right? So I'm logged in. Blue means things are turned on. So I'm clicked on here. I can then click in and I can go into human anatomy. And then by clicking on the filter views over here on the far right-hand corner, is that highlighting for me? There we go. So it's right here. I'm going to click it again. And now I can go down. Gross anatomy models is at the top, but what I want to go to is gross anatomy lab at the bottom. Okay. Because we have microanatomy, we have gross anatomy models. The gross anatomy lab is going to give me those bodies. And then I click done. And now I'm set up in here. And let's go ahead and go into, here we are in the intraperitoneal muscles. So again, we were talking about those kidneys beforehand. So I want to take a look at those kidneys. I want to get to the view that I want. So I can click here and I can click prone. I can turn on and then turn off all of those muscles. And there I have the ability to then see those kidneys. And then when I turn on augmented reality, let's do that one more time. So I'm going to click in the bottom left-hand corner, click on augmented reality. I put my mobile device. You have to use a mobile device to do augmented reality. I'm putting that parallel to the ground. I get the yellow box and the sparkles. I have a little menu here that tells me how to rotate, how to scale, how to zoom, which is lovely. And now I have that body right in front of me. And so here now I can then go in and I can even do a dive into those kidneys. And here I am in that renal pelvis, or renal pyramids, excuse me. So utilizing visible bodies, augmented reality really helps students get engaged with the content. They can play with it. We've had people do competitions in terms of like, show some cool things. And I'll show you some other resources that we've developed in the past. Using technology motivates students. Augmented reality also is going to help students visualize what they can't see with the naked eye, right? Do you guys remember Miss Frizzle from back in the day of the magic school bus? Here, look, I'm in a mitral valve, right? This is going to engage students in a different way. And all students, 99.99% of them are carrying their phones and they're attached to their phones all the time. So give them a resource that they can use wherever they are and whenever they are. Students are able to get lots of different angles to be able to look at content. You can create virtual experiments. Students can use augmented reality to study when they're not in the lab, right? So this is something, how do you get students engaged? The beautiful thing about teaching anatomy and physiology, and I'm just going to dance around to a couple other views just to show you some different things that we have here. Again, the 4 squares are going to take me back to the home screen. I still have augmented reality. I didn't turn it on. So I'm going to click on that filter and turn that off. Now I'm done. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to look at maybe a different view. I'm going to go to the spotlight view and take a look at some of our new content. We just barely added our biology content to visible body. And so now you can even do animal dissections. Here, I have a pig. So I have this ability that I can come in and I can then dissect away the content. And I can come in here. I can hide that. And I can select those different structures. I have a frog model now. We've added this frog model. So if you're teaching a biology class and you get a squishy frog, this is great because students then have the ability that they can go in and do a virtual dissection ahead of time. or if they have a squishy frog or they don't want to touch that frog. I think Athena, my black lab doesn't like that. I hope she's not making too much noise. Okay. I'm going to turn off AR by just clicking the blue button in the bottom left-hand corner. I have the option here where I can exit it or I can reposition it. Sometimes when you get an AR model, it is kind of funky and weird. By repositioning it, it allows you to then bring it into where you want it to be, but I'm going to go ahead and exit that AR mode. Okay. So augmented reality is going to encourage curiosity in your students. One of the benefits of teaching anatomy and physiology is you can't have a student say, I'm never going to need this. It doesn't impact me, right? So if you have a student coming into your course, this is the only A&P course that they're ever going to have. By engaging that student and getting them excited about anatomy and physiology, you could change the direction of their lifetime. Maybe they become a career in the health sciences, or maybe they just have a better understanding of their own personal anatomy and physiology and can be better equipped to deal with content. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at the beating heart. So this is something else that we recently added to Visible Body Suite. This used to be in our physiology and pathology app. We have added all of our content now into Visible Body Suite. So you have this really robust program, but the amazing thing is as robust as it is, it doesn't take up a lot of space. It doesn't take up a lot of energy and time to load. Once you get the content loaded and going, you're good to go. So again, to turn on augmented reality, repetition is the way we learn, right? I click augmented, the AR button in the corner. I click here. I see the stem of the ball throwing tool that I have. I click OK. I bring it so that now I started out parallel. Now I'm perpendicular, and now I have that beating heart. And again, this is one of our tours that we have set up. So in the upper right hand corner, you can see that we have the heart and the heart rate. So this is an actual lesson that you can utilize. Down in the bottom left hand corner, I have this menu that I'm able to then adjust those beats per minute. So I can do it really slow. And when I go to the next view, it's going to then give me a dissected away view. I can add in the details of blood flow. There's the blood, the fluid flowing. I can add in directionals. I can even add in an ECG. So students, again, having that understanding, and again, I can push through, get into that content. I'm going to pause here and see if there's any questions. I'm going to turn off the sound though, because that's kind of obnoxious. Any questions that I need to address?
Nope, I've been answering them as we go, but this is a nice point to say if anybody does have any questions that they haven't popped into the chat, I think you should go for it, or use the raise hand feature, and then we can unmute you and have a nice conversation.
Great, thanks, Courtney. All right, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the augmented reality for a second. So one of the things is that we offer resources that you can use to engage your students. So I'm going to stop sharing my iPad. And now I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully we can do it. So this is our website where we have lab activities that are already built, and we have augmented reality lab activities. And Courtney's going to send out the link to this content. But if you were to go looking for it on your own, if you're logged into Visible Body Courseware, so let me find my log here because I've got that set up, and let's escape. So if I'm logged into Visible Body Courseware, which is our main learning platform, if you click on Instructor Resources, that's going to take you to this website where here you have a link to those lab activities and the answer keys. Now, you also can go to our main Visible Body page, visiblebody.com. So if we go to visiblebody.com, here I can click into educators, and I can then click on ebooks and lab activities. The difference of going through the Courseware website is that you get the answer keys, and we want to keep that website, not available to students. So you do have access through your instructor access through Courseware, but you can also go here directly to the main form. So here I can click into lab activities. We have lab activities that are designed for our different apps, and I'm going to scroll down here because I want to go to the lab worksheets. We have a number of different worksheets, and this is kind of a fun way to start utilizing Visible Body is by using our lab worksheets that you can then download. So we have, these are shorter labs. So these are kind of an introduction and overview of content. We have a lesson plan and we have a lab activity that you have the ability to then download. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to download the lab activity for the eye and ear. So here we have this lab activity that has these great images. The idea here is that students are going to then fill in content. But how does this work with augmented reality? Well, the cool thing about augmented reality and these particular labs is that they're hyperlinked so that you can use these to direct students right to where they need to go. Now, we give the instructions that if students need to find the content, they can on their own. But I'm going to go ahead and now I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to go back and share my iPad. So far, it's been going pretty well. Let's see.
Oh no, don't jinx it.
I know, right? Don't say that. Let's see. There we go. And come down and screen mirroring. We got it. We're doing this. It's thinking, it's spinning, it's coming. Last time I just unplugged it and plugged it back in. That's the trick, right? So again, if you're doing this in a classroom, these are some of the things that you can do. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to unplug that. Screen mirroring, I'm going to plug it back in. I'm going to stop sharing. We're going to just do it all over again. Screen share, plug in my cable. I'm going to screen share. I'm going to do via cable. There we go. Share. And here we are. We did it. All right. So let's go back. Should we take a look at another new resource here and then we'll switch over to that iLab because again, we have lots of different ways that you can utilize it. So here, this is some new content that we have. This is our new 3D interactive neuron. So here I can click into that. I can get information. This related content, this is another new model that we have. This is a view of multiple sclerosis. And so here you can see that initial demyelinization. I'm going to turn on augmented reality. Again, looking for a flat surface. Sparkles, I'm ready to go. Now I have that neuron right up in the middle of my augmented reality. Now on my computer, I'm just going to flip back in. And you can see here that as I come down to my computer, there's that lab. See that blue arrow? With our augmented reality labs, what this does is this sets it up so that I can then click on that blue arrow. Students can scan that activity. And there's the resource that I need to complete that content. How cool is it?
Mary, I think your screen might have froze.
Oh, did it? Oh, let's resume share. Oh, stop share, resume share. Thank you for paying attention. We'll do that all again. Okay, we'll turn off augmented reality, exit AR mode. Now we're seeing it. Do you see my screen now?
I'm sorry, I was muted. Yes, can see your screen.
Okay, awesome. All right, so what we did before, here's the neuron. I click into that, I get related content. Here's our multiple sclerosis model, just showing off all the new stuff that our development team has been working on. Augmented reality, I click on the button in the bottom left-hand corner. Again, my device is parallel to the ground so that I can find a surface. I click that. I hit OK. I angle it so that now it's straight on and I can now see that. And then I'm going to go to my computer. And there's Courtney and the 7,000 views of everything that we're looking at. And so then here is that lab that I was showing. So I hope everybody saw the lab. So here I can scroll through. There's that lab and see that blue arrow.
I think every time you try to move over to the lab, we freeze on the AR screen.
Oh, is that what's happening?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's pretty cool the way that it works. Not seeing anything here. Okay, so let's stop, resume, stop share, resume share. Okay, I'm going to share screen again. Technical issues. Oh, there we go. All right. So there's my lab. There's my eye that I pulled. And what it does is when you look at the lab itself, so I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to share that lab again. Students are able to then hover over this view. And when they hover over this with their iPad, you get a blue. Huh?
Oh, I just wanted to clarify, using their device, if they hover
Yep,
their
using
device.
their device, scan over it using their device, they're going to get a blue arrow that's going to then pull that up. Okay. So that's another example of how you can utilize our content. Now, other resources and other things that we can take a look at. I click back in here. This is Visible Body Courseware. So a lot of you are familiar with Visible Body Courseware. And as we mentioned, training and support is ongoing and available that you can then schedule a time with your trainer to be able to get help to kind of walk through this process. We're always looking at ways to make life easier for faculty. So one of the things that recently we did, I did, somebody did, we all worked on together, was we created this using augmented reality course. This is set up in such a way so that you have a lot of the resources that you can then utilize to start teaching augmented reality. So it's kind of all gathered in one. So Courtney's going to include this course so that then you'll be able to click on it and add it to your Courseware account and explore it. So what we've done is we've put in the information here. So this is a step-by-step article that links out to our amazing support site. And it walks through all of those details. So you don't have to necessarily figure it all out on your own. We've tried to put this information together. Here's information on that augmented reality lab activity. And since we froze on this, let's go ahead and just take a quick look at this video. So with these labs, so this is the lab I was looking at. You can see here, this person is using their demo. They are able to then click on, they get the lab activity. So that was the part we showed. And then once they have that lab activity, they're able to turn on augmented reality, utilize that, and there's that blue arrow that will then pull up that content. So bonus to the marketing team for having awesome animations right where we need them in the middle of a demo.
That's what we do.
Yep. So here, this is an article that's in that courseware access. You can always access any support articles by clicking on the question mark in any one of our views. If I click into Visible Body Suite and I click on the question mark in Visible Body Suite, the tutorials and online help, they take me to the information and we have an article right there on using augmented reality. So lots of different ways you can get to the places that you need to go. So that step-by-step article is that first assignment. Here is a video. Again, this is something that was put together by our marketing team. This is an example of an assignment that we created. And this was something that we had students create where they took augmented reality and had to then submit an assignment so that they showed how that they know how to utilize it. And so that was a lot of fun for students to be creative. This was at a convention where we had the students make it ginormous. So you can really have some fun and get students being creative and having fun with augmented reality. Additionally, in this course, here we have another video that talks about how to use augmented reality for muscle actions, and then a lesson plan. This is from our blog. Again, our marketing team has put together great information. We have such cool stuff, but it's like, what do I do with it? How do I utilize it? We try to put pieces in place so you can follow a breadcrumb trail so that you're able to then put together information and utilize it in a way without having to recreate the wheel. So this talks about how to break students down. Here talks about utilizing students and getting students to stand together and practice that muscle actions. Right? So that's another blog that's in here. And again, Courtney's going to send all this content out for you to explore. And then these are some other examples where we've created an assignment that you can go in and you can edit that assignment and add whatever details you want. But this then has an included image so that your students know what they're looking for. Okay. I'm going to pause and see if we have any questions.
We do actually, from Kara, who had a question about loading activities in Google Classroom and whether or not hyperlinks will still be there so they can use their iPads.
Okay, so that's a good question. So to load, let me go ahead and share my screen again. So what you can do, Kara, for Google Classroom functionality, we currently don't have an integration with Google Classrooms, but we're working on it and it's going to be coming soon, which would then allow students to be able to be in Google Classroom and connect directly. But what you can do is you can take that lab activity, you can download that lab activity and import it into Google Classrooms as one option. The other option, and I want to make sure, Courtney, you can see my screen, right?
Oh, sorry, I was muted again. Yes, we can see your
Okay, great. Just making sure. The other option also is that within Visible Body Suite, within our tours and our flashcards, you have the ability that you can then share links and you can actually create a QR code. So I'm going to go in here. This is an example of one of our tours that our customer engagement team has created. That's a lab tour of the axial skeleton. So I'll just go ahead and open that up. This walks students through. So this is, again, another example of by scheduling a meeting with one of your trainers, they can provide some resources that you may not find on our website or any other places. We have so many different resources that are set up. So here, I can share this tour. And I have the option here where I can download that image, but that's just going to give me a still image. But if I click that share link, it then gives me a QR code, right? So you guys see that QR code. So now I'm going to stop sharing my computer and I'm going to go back and share my iPad. And open up my iPad. First time somebody gave me a QR code, I was at a restaurant. I was like, I don't know what to do with that, right? We're like, I have no idea. Of course, the students know everything. So here, what I want to do, because I have that QR code, is you then need to use your camera functionality. So I'm going to come here, find my camera. Sorry about the chickens. They crow all day long. It's part of the enjoyment. So here I've got this camera, right? So now I'm going to go back and I'm going to go back to Visible Body Suite. And there you can see that I've got my camera scanning that. When I click on that, that says, do you want to open Invisible Body Suite? And yes, I do. Let's see if that worked. I think I might need to shut this off in order for that to work. So let's
Yeah, we're a bit frozen.
oh, now we're frozen again. Okay, so let's try it one more time. We're just totally frozen.
Looks like, yeah.
Okay, we'll just start it over again. Share again. So I'm just going to share my screen again. So what happens when I click with my camera on that QR code is that then what that's going to do is that's going to bring up this tour that students are then going to be able to see on their iPad. So that's another option for Google Classrooms, is that you could create content and you could then generate that share link. Oops, not the download image. That's not what I want. Share link. Got it. Share link. You could then put that QR code into your Google Classroom. You also can provide this link. So if you click this copy link, this is again in functionality of Visible Body Suite. When I am in Visible Body Suite, this is where I'm going to put that share link. So if you could then create a share link, students could open up Visible Body Suite, click on the share link option here, paste that in. And that's going to take students directly to that tour. So a number of different options of how you can utilize the content and best ways to use it in Google Classrooms. When I'm in Visible Body Courseware, nope, that's not the screen I want this screen here. When I'm in Visible Body Courseware, we also have assignments that are set up that then will take me directly to the content that I want as well. So you have a number of different ways that you can utilize it. So we're not really talking necessarily right now about specific augmented reality. Augmented reality is utilizing that camera function on a mobile device to be able to click in and to be able to then put that augmented reality option in. Talking about getting students to the assignments and to the content that they are interested in and that they need to go to. Here, this is our Essentials of Anatomy and Physiology, which is our new basic course that we have flashcards that are built in. You can create an assignment that's then going to take students directly to that content. So when I click into here, it's going to then take me directly to the resource. So lots of different ways. And again, the training team can help you kind of identify, this is what my situation is. This is what I'm teaching. This is what I'm trying to do. And we'll talk about, okay, here's a step one, right? There may be 9 steps in the long run that you could take, but let's talk about step 1 and step 2 so you can get started. And then we'll continue to help you get comfortable and navigate Visible Body Suite, Visible Body Courseware. All right, so I'm going to pause.
Yes. Mary McManus had a question about integrations with the LMS's Brightspace and D2L.
Great, thanks for asking, Mary. So currently we do not offer an integration with D2L, but it's coming. We're very close. So we've been doing a lot of work and we're actually anticipating having an integration with D2L Brightspace, Moodle, Google Classroom, Schoology. So we're going to be launching some more LMS integrations coming very soon. And you can bet that the marketing team might have 1 or 2 things to say about that when it actually goes live. Also,
you're all about it.
Also, your customer engagement rep and your sales rep, they will be reaching out in terms of when that product goes live, and we'll be able to get you implemented and set up. Currently, if you are utilizing Brightspace or one of the other LMSs that does not have an integration, the way that you get students into your course is you send them the invite people link, and that will give them an invitation that will put them into your course content. When you're in your course content, you want to make sure that you have content that is published. Up here in the upper right-hand corner, I can click on Student Preview. And you can see here that I only have a few things available because I want to roll out the content to my students. So here, when I click into this, you can see I've got those green check marks that indicate that that content is published. And again, we can help you with that process of getting students invited to your course. And then once that D2L integration is set up, we'll have lots of information and be able to help you with that. All right. Questions? Other questions? I'm going to take a look at my notes and see what else I wanted to talk to you guys about. If you have not, now is the time to take a minute and start playing around and practicing with the augmented reality function on your own mobile device. So go nuts. Give us an update as you're playing around with this, if it's working, if it's not working. I'm going to double check my notes. Make sure I'm covering everything that I plan to. I hope that this is helpful.
Let's see. Sarah has a question that Courseware is better than VB Suite, which Courseware has VB Suite in it.
Well,
so
there's also VB Suite institutional license. It's a little confusing.
Right.
So yeah.
This one.
Yeah. So Visible Body Courseware is our learning platform, which houses the ability to create assignments and courses. When students have courseware and they have assignments and courses and they click into content, it's going to take them directly to that content through their browser. Also included in Visible Body Courseware, students get access to mobile downloads that they then have on their web and they can download onto their phone. Visible Body Suite, the institutional site license, doesn't include the learning platform, but it does include the content, the 3D content. And so that's kind of the main difference. We're in a little bit of a weird place right now because we've gone through this renaming, right? This was Visible Body Suite is the app that used to be called Atlas. Well, we also have the institutional subscription also called Visible Body Suite. So if you think you're confused, you're only slightly more confused than some of the people internally, but we have faith that it's all going to roll itself out. So the difference between an institutional site license and Visible Body Suite, that includes the 3D content, and you don't have this section here. Visible Body Courseware has this assignable capability that you can then create courses that take students directly to content. Additionally, we have a quizzing and assessment component where we have dissection, multiple choice, and short answer quizzes. Those results of those quizzes then flow into a grade book. If you have Canvas as an LMS, we have a deep integration with Canvas so that the grades will sync between Courseware and Canvas. And that's coming soon for Blackboard, D2L, Moodle, Schoology, and Google Classrooms is my understanding. Does that answer that question, Allison? I think it was Allison. Was it Allison? Did I make that up?
No, I think you made that up. I think it was Mary who had asked about.
Well, no wonder I forgot the name of Mary, because that's just my name. So too many things to keep track of. All right. Other questions, updates in terms of how's it going with the playing around with the augmented reality? Sarah, it was Sarah. There we go.
Oh, sorry, Sarah.
All right. Missed instructions for the mobile device. All right, let's talk a little bit about, and I'm assuming that you mean how to download the content. If you have Visible Body Courseware, you're going to log in at courseware.visiblebody.com. You're going to go to My Apps, and here you then have instructions where you can get the mobile app. When you click on that, it's going to prompt you to create an email or send it to an email. So what we're doing is we're sending you the correct version of our content from the App Store or from the Google Play Store. So you need to be able to open this email on your mobile device, and then you sign in once you download that version of the app. You sign in with your courseware credentials and get started. Now, if you have Visible Body Suite, the institutional site license that doesn't have courseware and the assignments and the quizzing, you're going to open up Visible Body Suite. You're going to have this same look pretty much without this over here on the side. You'll click on Get Mobile App, and the first time you log in, you're going to be prompted to create an account, which you can then use those same credentials, or you can use different credentials. Okay. All right, Joseph, AR works. What do you think? Awesome. Great. All right. Any other questions or comments? I'm happy to show other information. I can do another quick AR demo if people want to see that again. I think I did it 6 times, which I'm hoping is enough. But repetition is what works. The biggest thing is to really get get comfortable with our content is to play with it. By downloading the mobile app to your device, it allows you to then get hands-on and explore and play with the content. Some key things about working in our program. The 4 squares take you back to the home screen, right? Blue means things are turned on. We have information divided out into buckets, but you can also use the search functionality to get some suggestions of things that you can look at, or you can type in a specific structure to look for. Here, when I look at this, I have lots of different options, right? Including flashcard decks that I've added to my account. So as you continue to add content, it's going to cycle and it's going to help you find that content. When you click into any view, you can then click and drag to rotate. If you're using a mouse on your computer, you hold down your space bar and click and drag to move up and down, and then you can zoom using your scroll wheel. We have our joystick control over here. The circle in the middle rotates. That's another way of navigating. You can use the systems tray to layer in entire systems or to turn them off. You can use the plus to add in the deepest layer of tissues. I'm just kind of showing you some highlights. Hopefully this will be helpful and somebody will be like, oh, I didn't know that. I'm going to turn on the skeletal system here. When I choose a bone with a skeletal system turned on and I click on this pin icon, that then adds in the pins for the muscle attachments. And when I click on those pins, I can then add in that attachment. So let's go ahead and click. And there I'm adding in all of these muscles. So this allows students to be able to see how that works. I can also get to that view when I'm looking at a bone by clicking on the details tab. The big arrows in the left-hand corner take you back a big step. If you select a muscle and click on the details tab, that's going to show you origin and insertion. And then we have muscle actions that you can also then link to. You can't break it. All the content that you find, again, 4 squares take you back to the home screen. All the content that you find here, you're going to find on a mobile device. The only difference is the mobile device offers augmented reality as an option. You need to have a mobile device in order to use augmented reality because it uses that camera function. If your device is more than 6 years old, you may not have augmented reality, but I think even before that, it was available. So as soon as augmented reality was available, we were one of the first ones on it. All right, 9:58 p.m. or a.m. for me. So we've got just a couple more minutes. I don't want to go over the hour that we have set up. Questions?
Yes, we have a couple of questions, one of which I am answering, which is Kara's question, but June had a question about purchasing VB Suite. So should students purchase the product if instructors are not planning to use courseware? It seems June only has 60 students in the course and they are not looking to purchase an institutional license.
So June, in order to utilize the content, you want to have an institutional agreement with Visible Body Courseware. We offer free access to Visible Body for instructors when it's required for students. You don't have to buy a full site license for your whole school. You can purchase access just for those 60 students, which we can then send you codes, or you can have it turned on so that it's done through an IP or LMS authentication. But you absolutely want to utilize the courseware functionality because that gives you so much more functionality in terms of the ability to create assignments. Plus the other thing is that you then get access to the training and the support. So using an educational agreement with Visible Body, your sales rep can work with you to figure out the best pricing, the best option, depending on what it is that you need. And then you have the full authority to be able to utilize our content in lectures, without violating any copyright. And then also you get that training and support and all the different resources, whether you're utilizing courseware where you're able to create assignments and quizzing, or utilizing the free content with the lesson plans and the lab activities and the different things that we have set up. So you definitely want to work through us. Students get access to way more for a better price by working with us than if they went to the App Store directly. And then let's see, I'm looking at the chats here. So the augmented assignments included in tomorrow's email. Yep, they are totally available. You also can access them by clicking in courseware and going to the course resources tab over here on the left. And then the other group activities, check out those blogs. They put in some really good information in terms of how to do that. And we would love to hear, as people are utilizing our content, what other ideas and things that you've come up with. So here, this is our support site, Visible Body support site. This is new. And again, we're going to be sending out more information about this. But at the bottom of this, we have an instructor community site where we have the ability, and you can then post in content in about different things that you are doing. And so here you can see this is some of the stuff that myself and our team have created with ideas of how to utilize Visible Body in unique and inventive ways. And we'd love to have your suggestions as well. And great. Thank you. I am safe from the fires in Hawaii. I am on Kauai, and that was in Maui, and I hear that that is just crazy. Although the wind has been crazy and it's picking up now, so I hope the sound hasn't been too bad. So I am based in Utah, but I have a daughter who lives in Hawaii, and I come out here and I have a friend that I'm house sitting for right now. So therefore we have Athena and the ducks and the chickens, and so it's a little unusual than my day-to-day life. So I hope that this has been helpful. Augmented reality is so much fun to play with. Download the app onto your device and just goof around with it. See where you can place dead bodies all over the place. Zoom in, play with it, get comfortable with it, and then you can utilize our resources, our support to figure out ways to implement it into your classroom. Thank you guys for joining us. Courtney, any other questions or comments?
Nope, just keep an eye out for tomorrow's follow-up email, which will have the recording of this this webinar. So if you joined late, you will be able to watch it in full. It'll have tons of links to tutorials, lesson plans, activities, and I'm also going to link to a previous webinar that we had held. Mary, do you remember when Lakeisha?
Oh, that's right.
So
yeah.
A professor gave a webinar. They acted as kind of like a guest host to show how they've been using augmented reality with their classes. And
Right,
it'll give you a lot of great ideas. It's a really good one.
And truly, we are here, the customers, the customer engagement specialist. So my name's Mary Ness, Jennifer Kravitz, Jennifer Smulligan, Wes Patterson, and Brandy Billiter. We are your team to help you with whatever you need. Wherever you are, we can provide training and support to get you started for today. And then we can meet in 2 weeks so that after you get a chance to play around, you're like, okay, now I have some questions. Or then we can meet again in 3 months. Now I'm ready to implement something new. So please take advantage of the training resources. We're here to help you guys. Thank you guys so much. I hope you guys have a great day.
All righty. See you next time, everybody.
Thanks, Courtney.
Thank you, Mary. Okay.